Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. We are coming to you from Cashmere Goat in Camden, Maine. And we're gonna sit and knit and chat.
For a bit. Sit and knit and chat for a bit with
Okay.
Iris and
Kristin. I hope you guys are well this morning, or well, I've heard someone that watches this in the middle of the night when they can't sleep, so.
And not because we're boring, actually.
That's what she said that. Hopefully it's true.
And she turned on the captions so she could read and not disturb her partner in bed. So that was very sweet. And yeah, so it's been a little bit since we've had a podcast. We did bring our knitting. Should we start with what we're wearing?
Yes, yes. What are you wearing, Iris?
I have the awesome Love is Love shawl by Alice Dunn Smith of Birch Tree Knits, and it's just so fun. It's fingering, it's light, it's happy. My closet looks like gray sweaters and rainbow sweaters, and that's kind of how my accessories bin looks as well, which it's not one bin.
Sometimes for sweaters or a little party too.
Little party too. I'm wearing my design. This is a design that's being test knitted right now. Super exciting, and I'm really excited about that. So I've got my party sweater on. That's me.
Yep.
How about you?
I am wearing a Sophie Scarf, and it's made out of Nuna, which no longer exists, but held together with Cashmere Dreams, which is sort of like the structure of a mohair. It's a lace weight yarn, the structure of a mohair, but it's softer. It's really nice and cozy, which is perfect for this time of year. And I have an Andrea Mowry sweater, the throwback. I think it's the throwback. It's a cardigan, and you can see that I've done some, which I probably already said this, but I put a zipper in because I didn't like the ribbing how it was done. Actually, I didn't put the zipper in. I had a good friend who's also a customer, and is very meticulous and talented, and she put it in.
Because it's freaking hard to put a zipper in your knitwear if you've never tried that.
I mean, I've done it, and it was just one of those things that was, you know, on my long list of things to do. It was like, it was on there, and I had the zipper, but it just was not reaching anywhere near the top, so it was never going to get done, so I asked someone else to do it.
And this is Kathmandu Aran.
This is a much loved yarn. The Kathmandu, we have it in Aran, DK, and fingering. Wonderful, beautiful yarn, which we all love, and our customers do too. If you've used it, and you know, because it kind of is addictive.
A blend of cashmere, silk, and merino.
Yeah, yeah.
I forgot to talk about my yarns. So this funfetti kind of one is an indie dyer who's no longer dying right now. But sadly. Forgotten Fibers on Etsy was their business. And this is the ivory color of Mechita. We love it. Kristin especially loves that ivory. And it's the ROYGBIV from On the Round in the Plush single. So nice, so fun.
It is. Mini-Skeins for the win.
Mini-Skeins.
We all love Mini-Skeins, and so it's good to have a project that you can actually make out of them, because it's like you want them, but you don't always like have a reason to get them.
And this was a really fun pattern to knit, because it was not too boring, because every single one of the little sections has a different texture. So it was fun. There's even a few baubles, and this was, I don't know, the first time maybe in a long time that I've done baubles. So
oh, yep, it's really pretty.
Yeah,
it's one of those cozy, nice looking knits. So what do we talk about? I guess what we talk about is what we're knitting.
Well,
I mean, and we're both, what are we knitting?
We're knitting the Carbeth, because it's the Carbeth knit along, which is going strong. We have so many knitters involved. I think the last time I looked, we had about 170 people. And there's 4 patterns to choose from, and so there's a pullover, a cardigan, there's a beautiful sort of tunic length that is the swan dance, and then there's one called the Carp-Beth, and it's just been really fun to see people plowing through it. These are bulky weight sweaters, so people are like raring to go, and some are onto their thinking about or starting their second one.
People are, not me, but some people
are, and also some of our newer knitters, in some cases this is like a first sweater for them, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we've still got weeks to go, and there's still time to join in if you want to.
We'll pop the link down below to sign up.
It's, for me, I don't knit sweaters fast because I have a lot of things that I'm doing all the time, and I've learned to be okay with that. I'm a little frustrated with all my projects that I've started, and I need to finish some things, so that's kind of going to be a focus, but the bulky yarn helps. And I am making the Swan Dance, which is the tunic length one with a little lace detail up the front and back and down the sleeves, and when I mean little, it is simple. So this is the body of my sweater, and this is made in Tsuido, not blocked yet, so it'll look different once it's blocked. But this is Tsuido, I think it's color 7. And it's a gray, but there's so much going on. This is such a fun yarn to work with. It's, sometimes I get bored doing stockinette, and it's great for knitting group, or if you're trying to watch a foreign movie or something, it's awesome. But I sometimes just get bored with it. But this is not boring because it's thick, it's thin, then different colors,
little tweedy pops of color here and there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with this yarn, and it makes it very fun to knit. And so this is the body, and I am making the sleeves now, and it calls for 4 of these, which doesn't seem like very long, so I may be adding a 5th, but I'm going to do my sleeves first and check it out how it works for my body. And I had started a sleeve somewhere in here.
One of our super clever knitters in the knit along posted a photo in our Facebook group where they had knit a little body and had stitches on waist yarn, and then they knit their sleeves. They joined it, and they did all the yoke decreasing because it's a bottom-up sweater, and then like tried it on to figure out where the length was, because then they could knit down and have the length. And I was like, ooh, super smart.
I think somebody knit it from the top down somehow too. Somebody posted something in the Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group for this, just for the Carbeth, which you can join if you are interested.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this, I actually made a mistake on this. Yeah, so I'm pulling back right now because I just got ahead of myself, and sometimes I knit too late at night. Do you ever do that? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm fine, and then I'm like, do you want to fix a mistake tomorrow, or should you stop knitting?
The ever important question.
Yes.
So I've got I'm doing the Carp-Beth. So the Carp-Beth has this super fun twist texture on the sleeves, and it's really a little bit addictive. And after I got about like 2/3 of the way up this first sleeve, I really could visually see where I was, and I love that in a texture pattern where you can see. So I've got 2 sleeves, I've got it joined to my body, I am working on my decreases. I tried it on this morning, and it was sort of like a little bit like this. And so we're getting there, and
you're really close.
Cooking along, so that's super fun.
She's at the part where there's a lot of stitches on the needle.
Yeah, because when you join your sleeves down here to the body, you feel like you're really going around a long track.
It's just like when you're at the top doing a top-down sweater, and you put, you
get to this part.
Yeah, there's a lot of
stitches.
There's a lot of stitches.
So. And so I just thought it'd be fun to show you a little picture into my mind. Don't get overwhelmed. This is my project notebook, and this was a workshop that was taught by one of our employees, and it was really a very customizable idea. You know, using a like regular little notebook like this somehow, because I have a lot of precious notebooks that like I don't use because they're too special.
Yep.
And this, because it was like, you know, cheapo, buy it at the Walgreens, I, you know, very soon after I made it, spilled water on it, and I was like, okay, sally forth, keep going, don't worry about it. But you can see I've got my little yarn blips. And so this is my Carp-Beth page. And I'm just gonna like flash this at you. I have this whole like system of post-it notes where I'm like keeping track of where I am and where I'm in the pattern, and you know, so I like move my post-it up in the vertical pattern. And Kristin was like, oh, I don't do that, I just do it in my head and
then make mistakes. I did really well for 3 of them. I did fine.
Yeah.
3 repeats of the pattern, all in my head, fine. And then I screwed it up, and then I screwed up the sleeve. So here we are.
And this color that Kristin chose, I mean, I would say it's one of the favorites for this design. Too. And I mean, people are wild for it. So we have a few people knitting different sweaters. One of our knitters yesterday was at Knitting Group, and she was wearing hers in this color. And it's such a cool thing because it is a neutral, it reads as a neutral sweater.
It reads as a neutral, but knitting it's way more fun.
And then you've got these fun little coordinating little blips here and there.
Someone who knit with it was saying, oh, well, the purple. And I was like, the purple isn't what stood out to me, so we're all different, you know? I'm like, oh no, is there too much purple in it? Because I don't love wearing purple. I appreciate purple as a color, and I don't mind knitting with it, but for some reason I have trouble wearing purple. And no, there's not much purple in this. It's fine for me and my weird purpleness. I don't know. I don't know why I have trouble wearing purple. Literally, I have bought a shirt that was purple and tried to wear it, and every time I put it on, I'd be like, I gotta take this off.
Just didn't feel like you.
And then I gave it to one of my sisters.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, we now know this. We don't like purple shirts.
Not for you.
Who knows? That could change. Everything changes. People change. You
Color
can change your
preference.
shirt.
Yep. Totally. Oh, so we were closed because we had some inventory, and turns out we have a lot of yarn in this store, and we counted all of it with our trusty awesome team.
Yeah, we had a big crew.
But you know, we closed for 3 days, and we could have even been closed for more, but we didn't want to make people too sad.
We didn't. And it's hard for me to close the store for that many days. We're typically open 7 days a week, which is not usual for a yarn store, but that's us. That's how we do things. And people have really become very used to it, because we did have a couple of people who were like, hey, no, you have to let me shop. And we're like, the store is a mess. I literally can't.
Bins of yarn were everywhere. I mean, it was really chaotic, but we did, people who could order online, and then we would hand them their pickups.
So if anybody had an emergency, they just needed to be the smallest bit of tech savvy too.
And we had somebody sitting in the parking lot, I think, and placed an online order that we hadn't even picked, and then he knocked on the door, and we're like, we're closed. And he was like, I just placed an online order, and we're like,
awesome. Here you go.
Here we go.
So
that worked.
It worked. It worked, and it's done, and I'm glad it's over. And what we didn't have time for was a lot of rearranging and stuff like that, which I was wanting to do some changes, and so we probably are going to close again at some point for a couple days,
maybe before summer.
Before summer for sure. And it won't be 3 days, it'll probably be 2. And spring is a funny time for knitters, so that's probably when we'll do it. Because there's a lot of y'all out there knitting right now. I mean, is this not knitting season?
It is.
I feel like this is prime knitting season. For me, that's what it feels like.
Yep.
I am going backwards, and I'm like,
You're taking it out.
I'm like, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, there's increases. There's a stitch pattern.
I'm trying to like keep in my Carp-Beth pattern on the sleeves and not mess up while we talk to you right now. So we'll see if I can do that. I have something else too that I'm working on. Oh,
So last week I was tooling around on the internet, and I found this picture, and I'm like, what is that? It just hit me, and I was like, what is that? And it's called the Distance Scarf, and it's another little type of
scarflet.
Scarflet. That sounds weird.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
That won't be trending.
And it comes in a DK version and a fingering version, and they are just stunning. I'm gonna pull out a picture here. I was like, you know, with all my unfinished projects, I thought I'd add another one.
Cast on another one.
But I wanted something that was easily completed. I just feel like I need a win right now. There's another picture here. This is a 14-page scarflet pattern. It's mostly charts though, and there's different charts for different sizes, so that takes up 4 of the pages. So it's not as it's from Olga Putano Designs. It's the distance scarf.
Are there also written instructions?
Yep, there's written instructions and there's a chart, and well, I don't know. I guess I should look at that. It says go to the chart. So yeah, there's written instructions. That's why it's so long.
Yep.
And for me, the charts used to freak me out, but no longer. And so last night at the end of the day, I needed to get home, and I was like, I gotta pick some yarn, you know, and I wanted to do the fingering one, and I was gonna use the Cashmere Dreams, and I was like, it's lace weight, it's not thick enough. And then I looked at the lace mohair, and I'm like, it's lace weight, it's not thick enough. And then I was tired. I picked this, which is Nublé, and I started it. I did a little tiny start of it, and it's not heavy enough. It's
a pretty light fingering.
It's a really light fingering. I would almost call it lace. And then I was texting with my friend and Rep Andra, and I was like, oh, you know, she's like, Kristin, I was like, I want to do Cashmere Dreams, but it's not thick enough. And she's like, double it. And I was like, oh. Yeah, you're laughing. Neither of us thought of it.
It was the end of the day.
It was the end of the day. And we actually had a busy day yesterday.
We did.
Weird for a Monday in January, but we'll take it.
Yep.
And one of the reasons we're busy is, well, online busy, is because we are selling those new Chai Gu sets, the Forte 2.0.
Yep.
Was I not supposed to mention that?
I don't know. You can.
Okay.
We're selling them. It's not a secret. We hope you buy one.
And I don't have one to show one right now, but
because they sold within 24 hours.
Yeah,
we didn't do any promotion, nothing. It was just
then they were gone. And so I ordered 10 more sets, and I think 3 of those have already sold. They're on pre-order. It's the Chai Gu Forte 2.0, and so there's 7 more sets, and they are going to be in the store today. And
there was a lot of you know, so much excitement about this. You maybe already have heard about it. It definitely, people are pretty jazzed about it. This was the 1.0, the first Forte set that they created was about a year ago, I think.
Yeah, it was in November of 2022, and I couldn't even get it. Like, I didn't jump fast enough.
So it is a limited edition set like that first one. So that's so they like literally only manufactured some, and it's not like we're gonna.
And fortunately, with the excuse me. Fortunately, with the distributor I use for them, I could sell out on Saturday early and go online and go, okay, do they have any in stock left? And they did, and I bought more. So, and they're arriving today.
So exciting.
How fast is that? I was so excited when I got that email last night. They're already going to be arriving today.
They're pretty special. They come with a bunch of accessories, notions, but when I was reading up on them, it sounded like Chai Gu really took knitters' feedback into their redesign of this set, and so There's some changes from the first version. So these ones have, the smaller sizes are in carbon fiber with steel tips. The larger sizes in the set, and it is one of those like 2 through 15. It's the complete set.
That's what it is.
So the larger size ones are an African blackwood with steel tips, because I think they had feedback that the previous iteration of this was all of the blackwood, and people must have had some needle breakages.
There were some issues, and so they have addressed all those issues. And
comes with new cords.
It's a beautiful set. It's compact, so it doesn't take up that much room. And I wish we had one to show you right now.
But that's okay.
So since we don't, you can go online and look, or
we'll pop the link down below.
We might do a little reel or something about them.
Yeah,
that's what we might do. So
that's been keeping us very busy.
Yes. And the Carbeth, lots of Carbeth questions.
And of course, because we're planners, I mean, we have to mention that we have been thinking about the next knit-along, because we've been
thinking about the next 2 knit-alongs.
2 knit-alongs, and you know, we have to stay ahead of it. We like to have samples ready. We want to make sure we have the right yarns, etc. So, and we think a lot about it. We talk a lot about it with every single knit-along we do. We go back and forth and compare and contrast, and you know, different knit-alongs serve different purposes. So the one in March is, last year we did The Shift by Andrea Mowry in March, and we were thinking, you know, small accessory, the slip stitch color work turned out to be harder for some people.
It was a lot harder than we thought, based on our experience as knitters and looking at the pattern. But there was just, I don't know, it was easy to get messed up and make mistakes.
And again, that slip stitch, you're like with any sort of like brioche, you're in a different rhythm. It can just be hard. And what we find is knit-along, I mean, people want to be chatting. People want to be able to like come in and sit at the table with each other on a Sunday or on the Zoom, and have you be able to have a conversation and not fall off your place mark.
Well, and I remember with The Shift being here, and the tables were full. There was at least 14 people and us, and it was silent, which is not typically the case.
So we kind of took that experience, and I think this year we've got a good idea for something that will be a little bit more social knitting friendly.
Yeah, but also with a little bit of challenge. Yes, not like hard, but. Yeah, we're kind of set on something.
Yay.
We're excited to announce that.
Our knitters are going to start, like, really, I think, pressuring us.
And now that we've said
this, they're going to be all over us. But
we have a couple who really nag us to know what it is.
We have to be strong.
We can do this.
Yep.
We love our knitters. We love you guys.
Yes. And oh my gosh, that's the other thing we were going to say is we have had such an uptick in subscribers. So welcome. If you're new here, welcome.
Yes, welcome.
To the channel. Thanks for watching us. Thanks for finding us. If you're new here, if you feel like dropping a comment below to say like, how did you stumble upon us? That would be interesting for us to know.
And where you're from.
Where you're from. That would be great. And we're beginning to talk about like, we're nearing 1,000 subscribers, which is a big milestone for us because I mean, I think there were not many.
Well, I started the channel in, I think it was December of 2021 because my Facebook was hacked and I literally could not get into my Facebook. And that's kind of how we communicate. I mean, we had Instagram too. My Instagram was shut off too, but they turned that back on pretty quickly. But with Facebook, I just realized how, we think our content on Facebook is ours, and it's really not. I mean, I guess you could say the same with YouTube, but it's just a little different. And it lives a little differently on YouTube. And so that's why I started the channel. So we started with 0 in 2021. And we're a little bit more snowball rolling, picking up more in the last couple of months. So it's exciting for us to think that 1,000 people have subscribed to our channel is really kind of fun and exciting.
So we want to do something special. We're not sure what that's going to be yet. We're talking about it, but
we want to say thank you in a special way.
In a special way.
Thanks for joining us. And that we'll be announcing that when we get those 1,000 subscribers. Or when we get close.
Right. We will
announce what we decide because we're thinking on it.
So I'm just gonna jump in here. I know we've got to keep our eye on the time a little bit, but we're doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to mess up here, like we were talking, but I'm using on my Carp-Beth, I'm using a technique that we made a tutorial video for that came via the Lyons Knitting Tips and Tricks book. And it's for a tidier slip knit, because if you've ever done like something where you've got slip knit and then you've got knit two together, you know that a lot of times the knit two together just looks neater, and the slip knit can look a little thick or irregular.
Yep.
And Lyons had such a great idea, and we thought this was the perfect project to highlight that. And so I'm just going to show you.
Patty Lyons.
Yay!
Shout out to Patty Lyons.
Yep. So, all right, here is my knit two together side. And here's my slip knit side, and it just looks so
It looks similar, huh?
It looks really similar, so I've been very happy with that.
Yeah.
And we'll link to that one down below too, but the one thing that's a little tricky with my carp charts that I'm keeping in, with just like twisted stitches and sometimes you're slipping and then doing the thing, is that I have to be really conscious of when I'm doing the slip knit to not do a twist stitch by mistake, because I'm also doing that thing. So
yeah. Yep.
Just caught myself in a mistake.
Did you?
I did.
And I'm trying to fix a mistake. So this is the
real world.
This is the Knit and Mistake Club. No, I'm just kidding. I think I'm back to where I need to be. So yeah, we all make mistakes, and that's just part of knitting and life, and we do our best and fix what we can, and try to learn from our mistakes.
Definitely. it's that's the fun part of it.
And I am using I'm doing the magic loop, and I'm not used to doing sleeves on a magic loop. I'm newish to the magic loop, and I was kind of a die-hard double-pointed needle person.
A holdout.
I kind of was, and I had tried different things, and I thought I was doing magic loop a couple times when I had to resort to using what I had on hand and not having the double pointed needles. But I was more realized now I was not doing the typical way of doing magic loop. I was doing the traveling loop, which is I don't know, not as pleasant, and it just it didn't make sense to me. And so a couple of years ago, I was making some really teeny tiny colorwork mittens. They're literally this big. They're Christmas mitten ornaments, and they're like not ornaments, they're Advent, yeah. So I had grand plans, yeah, and that project, I think, is safe to say, will never get finished, but I did complete a few mittens.
And we hang them up at the holidays.
And a couple of my employees also have made them, and if any of them wanted to ever do that again, I would applaud them. But they actually are one of the hardest things I've ever knit, which sounds so ridiculous because they're tiny, but doing like a size 1 needle on fingering yarn in the round with color work
on double points,
and I kept like losing my stitches, like literally, and I was like, maybe I should try the magic loop on this, because I think it would hold all the stitches. And I did. And so that was kind of the beginning. And then I was making another ridiculous pair of mittens, which I still wear, but I made out of bulky 100% alpaca, I decided to do like Norwegian style colorwork mittens.
Whoa.
And so they were just like, you know, the needles, which normally, like if you have double pointed needles, they create this triangle and they kind of hold up your knitting, and they were just like,
because of the alpaca.
Yeah, they were like, and the needles kept going, see you, bye, and sliding out, and I was like, okay, this might be another case for that magic loop.
That magic loop thing.
So it turns out once you do it right, it's not so bad. As a holdout, I can say that I really like it. And I am very comfortable on double pointed needles normally.
Is that a 24 or a 32?
It's a 32. It's what I did my, I wouldn't do it on a 24, not with these.
I definitely feel like my minimum for magic loop is definitely more like a 32 minimum 40.
You can do it on other ones, and maybe it would be easier if you had little tips.
True.
But once tri-goos get up past a certain size, they're long.
Except for the, so we actually, that's cool. You could hold it up. So we're both probably using the same 10 and a halves, but you can see that taper. This is my interchangeable, and this is Kristin's fix.
Is that the new shorty one or no?
No, this is a regular.
Because there's also now.
Because this is the 4-inch.
Okay.
Set.
So you can get interchangeables in 4 inches and 5 inches, and that we've recently discovered. Miranda, who works here, was asked me to order her something that for herself that was a shorty set. I think I have one if you don't.
And these have been around, but we just haven't had them.
Haven't had them. Didn't like having awareness of them.
I call them the bananagrams.
He did last night, and I had to laugh because so much like bananagrams. So they're really short, and isn't there 2 sizes of tips? Like that is short.
That is short.
And then.
No, that's just it.
That's it? Oh, okay. So they're just really short tips.
And they come with a couple different cable lengths.
And
for really small circumferences.
So, and they come in groups of like, so this is 4 sizes 9 through 11. And I've got to order them. These are the only ones I have right now. But I am going to be ordering the other ones later
They're
today.
so cute.
That come in smaller sizes.
I'd already knit my sleeves for the sweater, but I was like, I have to have them for the next time. Because, and this is why, you can buy fixed shorties, Xiaogu and some of the other needles. Knitter's Pride has them too, but they typically are either like 8 inches or 9 inches through 12 inches, maybe 14 inches max. And you can't they don't make them above a size 8. So when I was like, you know, with the sleeve, it makes it really great, but I didn't have the short option.
So I am going to, I think I'm going to switch over and try them on this and see how I go, because I don't always like I don't like it if I'm feeling like this, but with the shorter ones, they should be able to bend out more.
And Miranda said they're swivel cords.
Oh, well, there you go.
Swivel cords
are pretty great. So yeah, those are, you know, there's always something new to learn.
Or try techniques.
Yep, we always have something.
This is my first time with the Patty Lyons slip knit, and I will like never do the other way again.
And is this your first time with a bottom up
sweater?
Yeah.
It's not my first time with a bottom up sweater. First time in a long time though. First time in a long time. Yep.
I know it's all the rage to do the other way, and I do like the being able to try on, and that, but. This is magical too, and I made one. My first sweater in the round was after I read a few Elizabeth Zimmerman books, and I made one for a child, you know, 20-something years ago, without a pattern, and I felt like I'd, you know, unlocked the largest clue ever. It was amazing because it just felt like magic. I just followed her formula, and voila, I had a sweater. And so it's pretty simple principles, but it feels weird to do it the first time.
Yep.
And I haven't done it in a long time because all the patterns are top down now.
Well, and especially like this style where it's a bottom up raglan.
Yeah.
That's the part that I think was, people might have done a piece sweater or,
a lot of people have done pieced sweaters. We'll do one someday for a knit along. A lot of people say they don't like that because they don't like sewing things together, but
other people say they love how those piece sweaters can fit them.
Yeah,
really in a tailored way.
Really have a little more structure, and I like them for that because that works really well for me. I like a little more structure. This sweater did not work great until I put a zipper in it. I kept trying to wear it, and I would be tugging on it all day because it was falling off my shoulders.
Yeah,
and that
because of that problem of the neck.
Yeah, and the lack of structure. And so it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. And, there's no wrong way. There's so many different ways to knit, and you got to do what's comfortable for you. But we like trying new things.
And a conversation that I think Tracy, who works here, was having with some customers, and she shared it with me, regarding our Carbeth knit along. For each time you try a new pattern from a new designer, you're entering a world of like a new way to read text.
It's
and
so true.
Every writer of like novels or nonfiction has a writer's voice, and every designer has a writer's voice as well.
I never really thought about it like
Tracy put that together, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
It does.
So it turns out that sometimes you fall in love with a writer or a designer, and you really get it, and it clicks in your brain, and this is like, yes, this is for me. For other people, could be much harder to parse the language or the designer's particular way of phrasing or whatever.
It's so true. And I have noticed like the length of patterns sometimes these days. I'm like, what? Why is it that many pages? And, it is what it is. And people really like everything explained to them now. And it didn't used to be that way. It slowly morphed over the years. So there is a pattern that we used to sell a lot of 20 years ago that's just a one page, both sides of one page, and people really understood how to do it. Some people needed help, but it was very basic, and people really want more now.
More explanation.
Yep, they want a lot more. They're like, wait, this is so hard. How do I do this? And so we don't sell a lot of that pattern anymore, and that unfortunately those patterns aren't size inclusive, so I don't push them anyways. I always loved them, but it's good to have patterns that I can make for myself.
and times change, and knitters change, and crocheters change, and with the internet, I think it's been a rapid change.
Yes, absolutely. So I get confused by more instructions. That's how differently brains work.
And also, I just feel like sometimes there's problems in how a pattern is formatted that is an impediment to my understanding or a knitter's understanding. Like just the fact that there's not an extra space between this one end of the line and something that, we found this in one of our summer knit-alongs last year. Like, there was a particular line,
and we're like, wait.
And I was like,
so easy to miss.
Circle this in your pattern to our knit-along knitters. Like, highlight it, circle it, put stars near it, because this is really freaking important, and you could miss it because it was just buried at the end of some paragraph.
It was weird.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely are opinionated on that, and, So,
yep.
What time is it? Oh, we're getting closer.
Getting close.
We probably should wrap it up. This is our longest ever. We're almost at 40 minutes.
People seem to like us, though. We hope you still do after this longer one.
Will anybody make it all the way through?
Oh, maybe.
Give us a little, we give you a little high five if you've made it all the way through. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you've made it this far.
Yes, definitely. And we love your comments. They really cheer us. And it's like, you put something out in the universe on YouTube, and it's like, people are gonna see this, find it, but you
Yeah,
have, which
and
is
a
exciting.
lot of people have been finding us, so it's really quite fun for us. And then oftentimes people will travel here in the summer and meet us after watching.
I see you on the TV at home.
It's an experience for us to get used to. Actually, we're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a little funny.
It's funny.
So, anyways, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Happy making, whatever you were knitting,
or crocheting.
Crocheting, sewing. We take everything. Or just watching us. Maybe it's the middle of the night and you're laying in bed with the caption.
I hope we've put you back to sleep.
All right. Have a great week or weeks,
Yes.
and we'll be back with you soon.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Good start. Good start.